To go over before we started. As we found out, Bonnie found out last week on a conference call with our regional rep, that it is very important that we sign in each and every week. This tracks our metrics as a chapter, which in turn helps for us to get more support from our headquarters, to get more of the good swag stuff that we get to give away. So if you have not checked in, we're going to go ahead and take about 30 seconds to let you scan the QR code. Once you've got it once, all you'll have to do is scan it, put your email in, and then we should have the numbers all set up. So go ahead and take a minute, and we'll get checked in. And then each week as we come in, if you can, we're keeping QR codes by the sign-in. Just take a quick minute, scan them, and we'll get signed in.
Yeah, we need to represent, right?
Yes.
What are we're probably averaging, Pam, what are we averaging, 30 to 35? Probably.
Yeah, 47.
And you said, what's the most that showed up?
Yeah, the most that we've had on the website is 15.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And we're running, on average 30 to 35. We pushed 50 a couple of weeks, well into the 40s. The week the kids were here from Eustis, I think we had 54.
Wow.
And yeah, and we had 1 week in October that the website shows 4. So it's just, and Ray and I were talking beforehand, and Mike and I were talking, I forget every week when I come in. I had to remind myself when we were talking, I gotta scan and sign in. So everybody good? All right, and if you don't, we've got,
If you want, well, we can pass this around.
yeah, we've got them in different places around the room.
I did,
I
yep, I
have a
did.
question.
Yes.
Is it possible to put the actual link on the bottom, like type out the link? Because like my phone, it refuses to do that QR code. And so if it had the address on the bottom, I would type that in so that I could check in.
It's on a later slide.
It's on a later slide.
Yeah, you don't have an iPhone, right?
No.
Yeah, Michelle and I went through that earlier. We got to a point where we had everything done to set her up, and for some reason it wasn't accepted it. But I thought that had been taken care of for the non-iPhones.
It works fine on most Androids, just not the latest.
And then you guys are sitting next to each other, so your phones are talking. Time will get you through it. So, welcome to our Lake County Usage chapter of 1 Million Cups. So a couple of housekeeping things before we get started. We want to make sure that we keep our side conversations to a minimal. We want to give our presenters your undivided attention. And also, if we can, just make sure we silence our cell phones. And then bathrooms, right here behind you is the women's, and then right up here in the corner is the men's bathroom. Oh, also, and I always did this whenever we are live on Facebook. If you know anybody that has shown interest in 1 Million Cups, please let them know. If you're not able to attend, watch us on Facebook. It's a live. Delaney is monitoring the feed, so they're more than welcome, and we encourage feedback from our live followers. And then hopefully our goal is that if they're following us live, they're kind of going, you know what, this is really, really cool. I want to be there in person, and we start filling up the room even more. And we just start adding tables, and we're standing room only. So we want to thank our hosts, Pam and George, for the Mega Workplace. So the one thing that you'll notice about the Mega Workplace, George?
Yeah, I just wanted to welcome and introduce 2 people. Our host here at Eustis, Maria Alberti, who's the president of the Chamber of Commerce here. Can you go to that? And we're fortunate to have a strong chamber as well from the East, Kate Manley, who is the Apopka Chamber of Commerce president and CEO, joining us back here. Right this way, Marie. Right up.
All right, welcome, and thanks for driving all the way from Apopka. So the one thing that we talked about, housed within one building, is you're going to have all the success and help that you need to run a quality, successful business. So what we look at is if you have a startup idea, and we'll go into more about 1 Million Cups, because I know we have a lot of new people here and first-time people here this week. But if you have a concept or a thought or an idea for a business, this is where you want to come and present that. If it gets legs, then we have the SBDC with John Doremus downstairs that's going to help you build a business plan and get your business that was once a concept, we're going to move it forward into becoming an actual business. And then we have Wendy Taylor from the UCF Incubator, who is going to guide you through that business and make it a successful business for up to 5 years. Up to 5 years. And I think the success rate on businesses after 5 years is somewhere around 90%. So everything you need to be a successful business owner is all under one roof, and it all starts right here.
And we also have LEAD located in the building, which is Lake Economic Area Development, Ray and Monty. And they work the whole entire county. And so if you're growing at a fast pace and you need to other locations or industrial or whatever, you know, get in touch with Ray and Monty.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Yeah, thank you, Dad. I'll try, I have to remember that. We'll add that in the coming weeks. So we also want to thank our sponsors. Our coffee sponsor is Foxtail Coffee. Great coffee. We started serving this at our church about 3 or 4 months ago. So much better than what we had before. So if you're out and about and you want to say thank you, stop by a Foxtail, grab a cup of coffee. It's going to look cool outside. And we want to thank our donor sponsor, United Southern Bank. They've been our ongoing sponsor for donuts, bagels, and just we want to thank them as well. So, what is 1 million cups? Raise your hand if you're a first timer. I know we've got a lot in the crowd.
Welcome.
All right.
Welcome.
Hey.
So, what is 1 million cups? It is presentations and not pitches. It is connections and not networking. So, if you have a thought or a new business that is 1 to 5 years in place, and you have an issue or a hurdle, or you want to see if it's a concept and get feedback of if something that might come to life, this is the place where you want to present that at. We're not here to raise money to build a business. We're not here to network and ask for sales from our audience for the feedback. You're not there to try to sell your product. It is a true business-to-business support program where everybody that is sitting here today is here for one reason. It's to help the presenters overcome whatever their question is and their ask is where they need help within their business. So it's business to business. You know, Ray and I and Monty and I talk about this all the time. The connections and business will happen organically. You don't have to come and network for it here. This is not why we meet every week. We want to meet to help and support each other. Business happens just naturally through that process. So we're going to have our 2 speakers today. I've got my assistant Sadie that is going to draw business cards, and we're going to give away some swag. And okay, we seriously thought about keeping these. Pam's dad, Dan, where's Dan? Dan made these.
Yeah.
These are like cool coasters that is in the swag giveaway, and there's a set of 4. There's a set of 4. That's up for the grab. So I'm guessing whoever gets the first pick. So say you're gonna have control over who gets that. That would be my guess. Because if I'm winning, that's what I'm taking home. So who do we want to present? So like we like to say, if you're a new business, if you're a startup, what keeps you up at night? When you wake up in the middle of the night, it's 2:30, what thought runs through your head within your business that you have a question on? So again, do you have a business idea? Is it just a concept? We've had a couple of those in the last month, but they just had a thought that they wanted to see and get feedback from everybody attending. Do you have a new business, 1 to 5 years old? Again, this is the guidelines behind this, and what we're here for is to help support those new businesses. Again, once you hit that 5 years, you're pretty much on the road to success. We want to support new businesses, and we did some figures a couple of weeks ago on small businesses and the amount that they support our economy nationwide. So we want to support those small businesses. But again, 1 to 5 years, what keeps you up at night? This is where you're going to get those questions answered. You're going to get some help with that. And then lastly, if you are an established business and you want to start a separate, I guess we'll call it a separate leg or separate part of that business. So essentially you're starting a new business within your existing business. This is also an area that we want to help support you with that. So we're going to cover everything from A to Z. We want you to stay connected. This is our Facebook page. You can like us and follow us there. We also have our website, which is 1 Million Cups, Lake County /Eustis. And we do it Lake County /Eustis because we want this to support all of Lake County. Lake County is huge. If you ever look at it on a map from south to North Lake County, we want everybody, if you know somebody in South Lake County, have them take an early morning drive to come visit us. and I think they're gonna enjoy what they find out once they get here. So again, we wanna stay connected, that's our website. You're gonna go to 1millioncups.com. Within there, you're gonna search, and just go down and find your chapter, and you can type in zip code, it'll show Lake County Eustis, or just type in Lake County Eustis, it'll pull it up. Click on that, follow it, you're gonna get updates, and then that's also gonna get you set up to log in and make it easier when you come to check in every morning. It'll just be scan the code and put your email address in there. So, organizers, what are organizers? That's everybody that helps put these together each week. If you wanna help be part of that, we would love to have you join our team. Within the website, there's an organization tab. Click on the tab, fill it out, we'll review it, we'll get you added to the list. If you want to present, go to the website, click on the tab, we'll get you in here to present. And we're looking to fill our January calendar, so if you know anybody that you think would be a good presenter, as we said, we like to have them come a week ahead of time, just so they can learn what the program's about. But we can coach them through. If they're like, you know what, I got a question I really need to have answered, let them know. We'll get them coached through. Monty does a great job with coaching. We have Jared Calicay, who presented last week, who does a great job coaching. We've got some awesome people that are involved. As an organizer, they're going to help them, even if they don't attend. So, before we get started, we're going to go with our question of the day. What is your favorite holiday tradition? Who wants to start us off? George.
Turkey.
Turkey.
My favorite holiday is definitely Thanksgiving.
Right.
Fighting traffic and mall traffic. Fighting mall traffic and holiday. I said sarcasm.
That makes one of us.
Michelle.
Polish food.
Polish.
Oh, there you go.
Nice. Ruth.
Just finding a different place every year to go see the lights.
I was gonna say something similar. Every year, my wife and I put together a scavenger hunt where we drive around and find different Christmas decorations, and then all of our friends get together in a car convoy and we drive around the map, and all the kids try to find everything that's on the list. It's really fun.
Advent
Yeah, those are fun to count down there. Yeah. Anyone else? Favorite holiday?
The day after Christmas, sitting around the house and doing absolutely nothing.
And eating leftovers. Get your stretchy pants on and just like bring out the food.
I think mine is simply all the lights. The way you're living up here all the way around, the community's all decorated everywhere. And going for the drives and seeing all the decorations. It's really good.
Yeah, I love it. We always like to go, they changed it to do the Disney, the Christmas tree at Disney, and they had it all in one thing, and you walk through it, and now they kind of scattered them over the park, and they make it kind of like a scavenger hunt as well.
I would say the feeling of community, family coming into town, you talk to your friends you might not have talked to all year, seeing more people on the streets. I would say a community feeling, feel more connected with interpersonal relations.
We do candlelight service before Christmas.
Very nice. Very nice. One more, Wendy.
Sugar cookies.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't forget Christmas cookies.
That's right.
I was gonna say gaining 10 pounds.
All right, so our format for our presenters, and if you know anybody that wants to present, generally what we do is we do 6 minutes of a presentation. Now again, if you go over, like we talked to our presenters today, if you go over, it's not a big deal. You're not gonna get cut off and go, oh, you're there, and you don't even get to your question. Then we're gonna give 60 minutes of feedback. If you go over to say 7 minutes, you'll get 50 minutes of feedback. But presenters are gonna get a total of 22 minutes, 6 to present, 16 minutes of feedback from everybody that's in attendance. And we added, when you give your feedback, because Alan's gonna be one of our presenters today, somebody may give him a great suggestion. He's got it, I don't remember who that was. So what we're asking you to do, name and company. So that way it's like, ooh, I remember Greg gave me a great suggestion. I want to talk to him afterwards. So name and company, give your suggestion, and then we'll keep it going through there. And please do that each time you have a response, just so we get to know who you are, and more important, our presenters get to know who you are. So today's presenters, we're actually going to reverse it, because Pete won the The bigger number.
Yeah.
The bigger number. So we have Al Miles from Sun Solar Power and Pete Kenjosian from Ask Clean. So we're going to bring Pete up. He does not have a PowerPoint presentation. So he's just going to do his presentation. So let's welcome Pete up front.
First of all, it's not Ask Clean. When I first got introduced to this chamber, the chamber president was a girl, we all know, and I will, Dawn Haynes. And she said, Pete, I can't say your name on stage, people think you're a proctologist. So ASK, I had this thing written and put it on the side. And I only had a couple of slides that I was going to put in. And then we have a TEDx Eustace practice. And one of our coaches is in this room. Thanks a lot, Marnie. And says, is that a speech? And he gets me thinking about it. Yeah, he's right. It's completely wrong. It's not asking the question I want to ask. Thanks a lot, Marnie. So I'm tossing and turning all night, and I'm thinking, well, you know, I could do that thing that 97% of speakers who don't really do their homework get up and do and tear up a bunch of paper, so it looks like I actually did some work. But I didn't. I don't want to be in that 96% class. What I'm going to talk about today and what I want your feedback on is co-ops. I think a co-op is an ideal thing for people to get into business at the lowest level, be part of something bigger, and earn a fair wage without putting in much in the way of money, but they're putting in more effort because they're owners. In Florida, we're lucky we have one of the most profitable co-ops in the United States. Publix has been owned by its employees for 150 years. And 70% of the milk in the country is from co-ops. All right, that isn't all I have, but I just can't think of more. My question today is, what are your thoughts about co-ops? I'm interested in learning about the leadership, the management involved. I'm thinking for a steering period, it would be me, but I want to be in a spot where after a year, 2 years, 6 months, I'm gone. And all the leadership positions are taken by people actually in the co-op. I also want to know what kind of buy-in should I ask. I'm thinking a working vehicle, something that most people have. Their cleaning equipment, and we should have training set up that these are the things we allow, and we vote on it. This is what you can't use. We should have a regular continuing education credit. And all these things should add up to a number of votes. We're already going to be paying you like an owner. Here's 80% of the money on the table, and with this 20%, you get to vote on how we're going to use it. Do we hire a little more expensive accountant? Do we spend a little bit more on marketing? But this all comes from the company, from the people involved. I think the clients will get a better service by dealing with an owner time in and time out. But I want to hear what you have to say. Who's got something to tell me about a co-op?
So you're talking specifically about applying the co-op business model to what you have currently as ASK Cleaning. Is that what, just for clarification, so is that what you're asking? Like in that, or are you looking to start a whole new venture using the co-op model?
I'm looking at it as a whole new model.
For ASK Cleaning?
But it would be ASK Cleaning.
So do you have relationships with other similar companies and their owners? And have you broached the idea of, hey, have we thought of this where if we co-op get together and then, you know, again, depending on where you value your business and where they value theirs.
No, but
being
that's a
able
really
to-
good thought. Thank you.
Well, I think it's a great, at least in terms of, you know, again, the ownership part. I'm not neck deep in terms of the co-op business model. The fact that you mentioned Publix, I had forgotten that. You know, obviously that's on a grand scale, but from the smaller scale, in the sense of, you know, again, ownership where something very personal, like going into people's homes and cleaning it, you know, obviously there's there can be a drop off when it's just an employee. For the most part, if it's just an employee and they're not vested in the business, they're not necessarily supervised most of the time by the owner or manager they're doing. And so as an owner, it can be frustrating where, you know, if someone's not doing a great job, a lot of times you'll find out after the fact and you've already lost the customer. So I can understand where the power of having a co-op and having people who are vested in the company building up, kind of having their own, I don't know how the structure is in terms of the particular employee that's out cleaning the homes or the business. But, you know, the fact that they've got vested interest in doing it and doing it correctly. Now, how do you make it work for everybody? How do you make it work for the company? How do you make it work for the owners?
That's a big question.
Right,
Yes,
right.
I'm thinking that everybody has this basic stake. So say, one vote. You add a vote by saying, I want to take a leadership position. I want to be a trainer. And those hours, X number of hours, would add up to a vote. So you could have one person controlling 10 votes or something like that. But everybody will have that chance, and people will be able to, the company as a rule would be able to vote somebody out. You're not pulling your weight. Or vote somebody in. We need help.
Well, I think that, again, another benefit to that would be, again, do you have employees now or are you working it by yourself?
I have 3.
Okay, so the fact of, again, if someone calls out or the owner, you know, you get sick, now you've got someone trusted that can kind of fill in for those times when potentially you might not be able to do that. So again, there's that synergy part.
16 years ago, we started in Ocala with myself and 2 partners, and that was one of the things we would advertise was we have somebody that's an owner on your property all the time. And it was 2008. We started the company to be post-construction cleaners. It wasn't a good idea. In any case, I just think it's so much better. And I'm thinking for that morning that I wake up and I'm not here anymore, the company's in the hands of the owners. Doesn't matter. They're not lost. They're still going to get paid, and they can have an Irish funeral for me.
All right, we're gonna go Juan, Delaney, Marie, and then Todd.
So, Pete, tell the people, you clean houses and commercial, like, I don't think you explained that, like, you clean everything. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, yes. We currently are doing more move-outs than anything else. And we saw this in 2008. All of a sudden, we were doing nothing but bankruptcies. And the real estate people the two that we dealt with in Ocala kind of felt that we should get less money because there's no water in the building. Now, hour for hour, move-outs and evictions are at the top of the list as far as profitability goes, because it's hard work. Commercial, we have 5 different accounts, one we've had since 2009. It's the most steady income. Residential, we have to keep, and we have a full-timer and a part-timer that really want to do that, and it's regular money. We've always got these 2 people that can come in and help us on bigger jobs because we've got this residential.
Okay. How many clients would you say you have throughout? Because that's gonna really depend on what the buy-in is for the company. You know what I mean? Longevity is one thing, but clients, can you put that in like with us, we've got like 5,000 clients. With you, it might be on a smaller scale, but it's like, hey, this is how many clients we have, and they're active. Do you know how many clients you have?
We have 6 real estate people that we work with regularly. They might provide us with 2 jobs a month.
Okay. So it's very vague to where, like, you're not just a regular house cleaning crew that comes in, Delaney's house, and twice a month or something like that. On occasion.
On regular residential, we have maybe 20.
Okay.
And it goes from weekly to monthly.
And this is my last question, I'm sorry. With the employees that you have, do you think that they're just worker bees, or will they scale to a leadership position where they have an opportunity to be able to say, I've worked hand in hand with Pete, and maybe I can purchase in and partner up and take the reins?
So that was the main reason that I came up with the co-op, because I went through a lot of not so great people. People with good reasons to not be so great. And now our pay is 2.5 times more than it was just 5 years ago. So these people are in it to stay. They're happy with what they're doing. I just want them to have a spot where they can say, this is mine.
Do they want to take that lead?
Yeah, in fact, I had them read one of those copies I had to tear up. Thanks a lot, Monty. And they're interested.
Is there anybody? Because where I'm getting to is this. So let's say you did $250,000 last year in gross sales. A lot of companies, when you start to sell it, they have the EBITDA score. Is that right, guys? Am I saying that right? Where earnings before interest, tax, amortization or so, where basically it'll tell you, hey, my company that's been in business, it's this much. And then you just figure out what part of that amount of money that you want someone to buy in for. I understand that you want to have someone to have a vehicle, but if it's not their personal vehicle, are you talking about like a commercial vehicle?
No, I'm talking personal.
Okay.
They can drive their own vehicle to work legally.
Okay. I'll talk to you more afterwards.
Okay, so the numbers is not my thing. I'll just put that out in advance. But I am a part of 2 co-ops, okay? And so that's the perspective that I'm gonna come from right now. I homeschool, and so we're a part of a homeschool co-op. I know it's a little bit different than what you're talking about, but the reality is that it's still a co-op, right? You're still in cooperation with other people. Other people provides a whole new, I don't know, mess sometimes. Sometimes, not all the time. Especially if your people are interested, that might be a completely different story. But with our co-op, our leadership of our co-op basically said, this is a co-op, like, you guys can bring snacks, you guys can help with the Christmas party, you guys can, but we're still gonna be the teachers, right? Because when you bring in other people that teach different classes, they might not teach it the way you want it, they might, not have the knowledge you thought they had, so on and so forth. So going into a co-op with people presents a whole smorgasbord of, uncertainties. I'm also part of a fruits and veggies box co-op, right? Where one person goes down to Plant City and buys a whole ton, comes back, sorts it all, and everybody provides plastic bags or, all the things that are gas money, things that are needed to help that, so it's not just the one person. They had to shut down just recently because there weren't people who were giving gas money. There weren't people who were providing bags. People just were not cooperating. There was no cooperation about it. So I would just say this day and age, unfortunately, there's a lot of people who want less cooperative energy and more just give me a paycheck. And some don't even want to show up for work for that. So I would be very careful who I was letting in that leadership.
And that's a really good point. In fact, that's part of the vote system. You don't get voted in. The pay is at a scale where they want that job. And as far as being helped, the leadership level is going to be very small, and the downline is going to be people who are actually in the field. And I'm also thinking that we need to have continuing education credit that also counts for a vote.
All right, so we're gonna go Marie, Todd, Ray, Byron, Sue, Julie, and then Pam. So Marie.
Name and who you're with.
Name and who you're with. Name and company.
I did that.
Marie Aliverdi with the Eustis Chamber of Commerce. I know you know the nuts and bolts part of it and what it is, the service that you provide. The other part of it, it's a cooperative, but it's also your professional association. If you were a teacher, you would join your professional association. Any industry has a professional association component. So within that is your offerings of certifications for working with your chemicals, what products you're using, that your people are certified, that your people are bonded. So that's a service that the association, the co-op, could offer also as an incentive, not just we're gonna make money doing this, but also where's our professionalism in this industry, and that would set you apart from others. So any certification you could get, and like you said, that would earn you so many points, a seat on the board, however you want to structure it. But I see it as your professional association.
Another great thing, thanks a lot, Marnie. I see those things like the professional association as being possible income, content income, that'll come into the picture for these people to actually earn. And that's a great point. Thank you for bringing it up.
Todd and Greg.
So, Todd Headley, Best Virgin Media. Trying to do anything Publix does is a very lofty, great goal. But it's like, why is Publix better than Albertsons? Same reason that Chick-fil-A is better than Burger King. It's the people they bring on. And those people are so invested because you can't buy Publix stock. It's not publicly available. It's only for those employees. And I think that's kind of what you're getting at with your vote system, but yeah, you gotta be hyper careful of who you bring in to make sure they have the same values and goals you do. Otherwise, it just runs away and it's no longer a co-op, it turns into what Delaney was talking about. So just be very cognizant of thoroughly vetting who you bring in.
And another thing about Publix is their leadership is totally invested in this system. They have people that only last a year, but they only last a year because they can't advance. They're frozen, they're out of there. But thank you, that's the kind of thing I need to hear.
Right.
This model is definitely doable. Obviously, there's other companies like the dairy industry and Publix has done this, so it is very doable. I think the best suggestion I can give you is continue to study Publix model and the Dairy Association model for milk, and then also franchising. If you take all those three things and look at their model and then tweak it for yourself, then this way it would you're not reinventing the wheel of thinking about all the things that you got to consider. Just look at the franchise model for cleaning, Publix, and then the dairy for the co-ops. And then this way you'll have a better idea if it's doable. But it's definitely doable because other industries have paved the way.
There is a franchise in Pennsylvania, in the Philadelphia area, that is a cleaning company and does operate as a franchise.
Okay.
But it's a franchise. It's not a co-op. So that's what I'm saying.
But it's a co-op.
Yeah.
Right.
You can implement all of those things and then turn it into a co-op, but it's doable. Anything.
Thank you.
How much time left?
We got just literally
6 minutes. Byron.
no
6 seconds.
6 seconds.
Oh, 6 seconds.
Byron, Public Supermarkets retired. The public model is simply a stock model. It's employee stock ownership trust, which is a lot different, but I think it's a lot easier. You will still get, I think what you really want from your staff is buy-in and ownership and the entrepreneurial spirit that you have and bring. And being able to reap the rewards when one person floats, we all float, which is a great model. And I think the stock ownership model is certainly something to look at, where not every single person necessarily has to have a vote, but everyone still has a stake in the game. So we can obviously talk about that all we want. The other model that I thought of that I don't know anything about is like a law partnership model, where there are different tiers and buy-in and value and things like that. Don't know anything about it, but that's the first thing I thought of when you were talking about having different levels and ins and outs. Might be something to find.
I didn't even think of law, but that is.
We got 2 more. We get these 2, and we're gonna have to wrap it up.
So Julie with TA Construction. So I'm not too familiar with the co-op model, but as a, just kind of thinking it in your perspective as a business owner, it sounds like a lot of back-end compliance headaches. And so in my perspective, if I was going to do any back-end things and kind of bring people on board, I would kind of focus more on, so you already have a cleaning company, why don't you make it, like she said, bringing in more like status to it. So having certifications, making your company kind of stand out of all of them, and being able to kind of subcontract out to other smaller cleaning companies that are, going to do a good job because they're their own company. They're their own business already. So you can just start kind of generating the leads and being able to keep that same level of high-end service, and they're going to be their own business owners, and you're just kind of doing the back end, but in a less complicated way. Because the co-op model, to me at least, sounds a little bit more complicated.
Thank you.
All right, last one. Everybody got their business card in there?
Not yet.
No.
All right. Cindy, if you can grab those, Pam. Last
So what can we do as a community to help you with this?
I'm sorry?
What can we as a community do to help you?
That'll be for the next meeting because you've helped me so much already.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
All right, so thank you, Alan, or Phoebe. Thanks for that. Stick around afterwards. I expect to see Alan here in the coming weeks.
I'll let her know.
All right, go ahead and grab him. Don't be.
Walls.
Walls. Alright, so Rolanda, go ahead and gets her goodies for attending. We're going to go ahead and queue up Alan from Sun Solar Power as our next presenter. Really going back.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you today. I'm Alan Biles. First, I'd like to introduce a little bit about myself before I get into the company. Just some fun facts. I am the father of 7 children. I have 2 in heaven and 5 living. I am the grandfather of 20 grandbabies.
Wow.
And they range in age from about 3 months to 20 years old. I have been single for about the past 25 years, still hoping. Moved to Eustis in November of 2021, so I've been here just 2 years. Fell in love with this community and met so many of you that have been so warm and welcoming and loving towards me. I'm from Michigan, so go blue. Some of my kids, we went to U of M. I have, as a side business, I have about 40 years in holistic naturopathic nutrition and medicine. So I homeworked our last 4 children at home, and we did everything holistically with the children, and other than some emergency room business, because you're a house full of boys, you get injuries. Girls can happen too, but, and I started in the solar industry in March of 2017 when I was invited to hear about the opportunity, and it was something right up my alley. So I offer residential and commercial solar solutions. So why do business with Sun Solar Power? That is my company, that is my brand. I am a solar energy broker. I work for you as my client. Anytime I'm working with a customer, I like them to know that I'm an independent contractor, so I work for their benefit. I don't have a boss. I'm not an employee. I'm not some sales guy selling a deal. I'm there to build a relationship with a client and help them understand solar. I have multiple partners. I offer the best equipment for the best dollar value with the best warranties in the industry. We offer both residential and commercial solar energy solutions, providing education and guidance to both home and business owners. I also, one of my added values that I bring to the table is offering educational lunch and learns to realtors, real estate brokers, and anything in the real estate related industry like title appraisers, title people, appraisers, insurance agents, construction trades, and so forth. Because what we found, according to the National Association of Realtors 2023 Sustainability Report, was that 97% of real estate agents do not know how to list a home with solar or sell a home with solar. So I'm bringing into, at least into Lake County, into the Real Estate Association of Lake and Sumter County, and eventually maybe build beyond there, educational opportunities. So a question that has to be asked is your home or business right for solar? You may not know, but there's 130 million single-family homes in the United States. 40 million of them do not qualify for solar for a variety of reasons. Some of that can be because of shading, because of trees. There's areas in this country where homes are built in the valley and a roof never sees sunlight. It never gets direct sunlight. Solar panels have to have direct sunlight. And so we look at those things. And what's the age of the home? If the home is old or it's some sort of a old modular mobile home construction, we can't do that. Mobile homes in a park, we can't do. Things like that. Now, if it's in a cooperative and it's on land, you own land, yes, we can. That's another subject. Our main source of energy since the beginning of electricity has been dirty energy. You know, there's over nearly 8,000 operational power plants in the U.S. alone. And a question that a lot of people don't know the answer to is, if let's say this plant is producing a megawatt of power, how much of that energy is lost by the time you go over and you flip on a switch? 80%. 80% of the energy is lost in transmission. When you have the rooftop solar or ground mount solar on your property, what's the loss? About 8%. So it's a big difference. Net metering allows you the opportunity to have a solar system that produces energy all day long. Your home is using this part of the energy, and the excess goes out onto the grid, so that at night you are able to draw the energy that you put out onto the grid back to use at night, so that the grid, the utility grid, acts as your backup, as your like battery backup, so to speak, when the grid is up and running and everything's working normal. And then the utility companies, especially in the state of Florida, we have the Florida Solar Rights Act, and that ensures fair, right now anyhow, it ensures fair net metering for homeowners that have solar. And every utility works a little bit differently. But that's just a little something about net metering. And then how is the valuation determined? Because a lot of people say, well, what if I sell my home? What happens then? When you have solar on your home, it increases the value of your home. If you have a paid-for system, all of a sudden now that home doesn't have an electric bill. What is the value proposition of never having an electric bill again? Multiply that over the years, it adds up to a lot of money. And then my solar partners. I've partnered with some of the best in the industry. Powur at the top, I'm an independent Powur consultant, I have that on my shirt. Powur is recognized as our 4th year in a row to be on the Inc. 5000's top 100 fastest growing companies in the United States. Out of 32 million companies, we're the top 100 and #1 in residential solar energy. I have connected with Arvico and Ringo Innovations. They are 2 of the top premier install partners for residential with Powur. And then I've connected with BB Powur, which is connected to Solar Electrical Freedom, because these 3 also offer commercial. So with this company, I can offer commercial in almost every state in the country. I can offer residential services through Powur up to 25 states, including Hawaii and Puerto Rico. And then with Arvico and Ringo, I can do also do commercial. So 3 of the companies I'm able to do commercial with. What are the financial incentives for going solar? All homeowners and business owners may qualify for a 30% federal tax credit. Now that's not a deduction, that's a tax credit. So if you have enough taxable income that you pay money to the IRS, then that money can be offset by going solar up to 30% of the gross cost of your system. We now have an accounting firm called RET, and they will prepare the documents so you can take an up to 86% depreciation on your solar system. So between 30% federal tax credit and 86% depreciation, people ask, what's the rate of return? Well, that's pretty quick when you have that. If you have a commercial building, like this building here, not only can you take advantage of the 30% federal tax credit and the depreciation, but the new, under the Inflation Reduction Act, we have the Rural Energy for America program that offers up to a 50% grant on the cost of the solar system. So if you know anybody who owns a commercial building in a rural zip code, which almost all of Lake County is a rural zip code, which is great, they're able to get a 50% grant. I just did a proposal the other day for a building here in Lake County, and when it was all said and done, we're going to do a interest-only loan to fund it. I said, leave your money in the bank. Let's do an interest-only loan because the interest is going to be tax deductible. Do an interest-only loan. At the end of the year, because we got to fund it, get it all. Now next year, in the beginning of the year, you're going to file your taxes. You're going to get your 30% federal tax credit. You're going to get your depreciation, and you'll get your grant money. Okay? When all that money comes in, they're going to take that money and pay that entire loan off and the $27,000 to the positive in their bank account. Then I'm going to sign them up for the new carbon credit program. It's going to pay them, in this instance, for the size system, a $2,600 a year carbon credit for the carbon offset that their solar system produces. So they're going to be net positive $27,000 and about $2,600 a year in carbon credit money. So how could you say no to that? Otherwise, under other systems, when we're talking homeowners, we have cash, solar lease to own, which is a great option for people on fixed income or lower income folks. solar financing. I have Green Energy Mortgage. And the newest one that I'm excited is just rolling out through FHA. They have a green mortgage. It's a green mortgage plus solar loan that says, hey, let's say your home is worth $400,000. You're going to buy this new home. We're going to give you an extra $80,000 value to put solar on that house on top of the appraised value of the home. So that's some exciting financing that's coming. So the challenges. Scheduling, so these are the challenges I face. So that's all about me, my business, and the value proposition. How am I doing time-wise?
Yeah, you're.
What time is it? Okay.
You're 4 minutes into your feedback.
Okay. I'm already 4 months into it?
Yes.
Oh.
The peak was the.
I didn't hear.
Yeah. So we're gonna, let's go. These are all your feedback, so to give you the most time we can. Which one do you want to tackle the most?
Oh boy. Well, number one. Number one, and probably, and these two. One thing I want to mention about developing a referral network, I have, through Powur, we have our ambassador program, and that is where any of you could become that love solar and want to share it with people and say, hey, talk to Alan, he's a great guy. I can get you set up with the app, it doesn't cost anything. And if those people you refer to me go solar, the company will send you a check or deposit $1,000 on your checking account as a thank you for helping to advance the adoption of solar energy. So that's just an added value I want to mention there. So I'm always looking for help in developing my network. Yes?
For your hiring and acquiring an assistant, because I know it's really important to be organized, have you considered or looked into any virtual assistant companies?
No.
They're highly skilled, they're very efficient, and they're good at doing everything that we as business owners don't have time to do or don't know how to do.
Really?
There are local virtual assistant companies right here in Lake County that would be a great match.
Okay, thank you. I'll have to look into that.
The key to that is you have to make sure you know exactly what the work that you want them to do, and it has to be very organized. To maximize on that virtual assistant, you need to be very detailed in that, and that's for your advantage.
Okay.
So you can't just be nilly-willy with your what you want them to do. Be very specific in what they need to do. They're awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, I will say to Greg's point, our company hired like a virtual assistant for the processing. Well, they must have vetted them and worked with them probably close to a year before they implemented that in place. So I mean, that's a great point by Greg.
Okay.
Why would I hire you and not go directly to one of those companies?
You have to go through me to get, because they're going to send you to somebody who represents them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm contracted with those companies to sell for them.
He's like a broker.
So I'm a broker, so I sell for them. Okay?
For the virtual assistant, there's also on Facebook, there's a group, and this, all of you may benefit from it. I think it's called Teachers Pay Teachers. And it's teachers all over the globe that are looking to pick up extra money. And teachers are a very organized person, right? They have to manage a classroom. So a lot of your teachers, they're looking for extra money from years, so you'll find virtual assistants on there. And you can vet them. They put their resumes on there, and they're very affordable. So it's a Facebook, Teachers Pay Teachers.
Teachers Pay Teachers.
Yeah,
Okay.
and go there, and there's a lot, and some of them will even, they want to manage your social media. I mean, so that's a resource for a lot of business owners. But yeah, it's a good group.
Yeah, so that was Money Taylor with UCF.
Make sure you tell me who you are.
That's why I am. Jimmy with Summer Beyond Vacations. Based on what you're saying, I feel like there's a strong possibility to partner with accounting, CPA professionals, stuff like that. So yeah, because I personally don't see the value in solar, but when you put it like that with the tax credits, it's got me thinking, you know.
Oh yeah.
And the people that are already wise about that and already seeing the CPA, it might be a good partnership.
Yeah, never thought of CPA. Are you part of the Home Builders Association?
No.
So that would be your
I need to.
builders. Is there any commercial? Is there a commercial association for commercial construction, George? Do you know? Like HBA for residential? Is there a commercial builders association?
There is a commercial.
Yeah, because to me, looking at some of those, it's education. Right. And I think that's where you need, you know, one, the help is there, but I think education, because again, to his point, I look at solar, it's kind of like, where's the benefit? Because I'm making a payment, I want to save it, but now there's all these different benefits that we don't realize.
May I speak to that real quick?
Yeah.
The thing is that when you, let's say you have a payment on your social system, it's never gonna go up. And if the person putting the system together and designing it, has designed it so it's 100% offset of your electric bill. So all you have is your connection, it's never gonna go up. Your electric bill goes up 6% a year consistently based on something you're, you know.
Yeah.
So that's.
And that's the education part.
Right, yeah, right.
So I think the HBA and.
Yeah.
Did you raise that? Yeah, aren't there some changes that are occurring in January 1st with the current tax credit on solar?
Are you talking about the federal tax?
Expiration date to December.
It was extended to 2032, 2033. Yeah, we get 30%. The federal ITC, we get 30% for the next 9 years.
Rolanda Qualls, QRX Consult.
I'm sorry, tell me your name again.
Rolanda Qualls.
Rolanda, thank you. Hi, Rolanda.
I have been struggling with number one for years, the scheduling, and I finally found a time management guru that uses partly the 12-week year program to help schedule, and she's all things calendar. She is an implementation consultant, so she will line you out. So I will definitely give you her number. But
oh, please.
Please,
thank you.
somebody
Yes.
like that is amazing.
Because I try to stay really involved. I have a lot of trainings. All these companies have trainings and things, right? And we're trying to stay up on what's happening.
She will talk to you and set your calendar for you, and she's amazing.
Wonderful.
So,
You also get her information?
yes. She will
Thank
let
you,
you.
Rolanda. We'll
Yeah.
make sure we see each other.
Okay.
Well, you know, and to that point too, we talked about this weeks ago, that there's a guy named Pat Duncan, and he is big into what he called red and green time. And I think too many times we let our calendars control us instead of us controlling our calendar. And his point was, you set your calendar. If you have a training, then you put it in, it's red and green time. Green time is making money, red time is just handling the issues behind it. You set your calendar and you have to stick to it.
Right.
And you know, if somebody says, hey, I need you to come out at 11 o'clock, it's like, I'm sorry, I can't. I don't think there's anything in our businesses that can't wait an hour.
Right.
So it's you know, that, and having someone make you accountable for controlling your calendar, it's amazing how it frees up your day. Jesse, question? Maybe business?
Yeah, Jesse with Ernst Financial Solutions and Financial Coaching. What do you use for scheduling appointments right now?
My calendar, my phone calendar.
Okay. Are you familiar with Calendly?
Yeah, yes, and so I'm with Thrive, and I'm in the Thrive suite of services through Matthew Guy. They have a whole calendar thing, and I have to go through the training on that and learn that. 'Cause it's like Calendly, and a lot of people in my company use Calendly. Yes.
The beautiful thing is if somebody books an appointment and you say, I'm going to make these 75-minute appointments, then that's automatically taken out of your calendar so no one else can double book.
Yes.
And it'll come up on your daily tasks. So
Yeah.
you can't double book yourself.
Right.
I use it religiously and it has kept me so organized and I've never missed a meeting. And then when I know I have a training or I have a seminar or I have something, I go in there and I block it off. And so when somebody else jumps on my calendar, they're like, hey, I wanted to meet on the 20th. Sorry, I'm not available the 20th.
Right.
And that's what I use, and I think you probably have better idea. If somebody goes to schedule an appointment with you, it blocks out. It won't go until like 6 hours ahead or something.
You can set your own parameters saying I don't want anybody to book with less than a 3-hour heads up. So I don't let anybody book in the next 3 hours.
Right. Yeah. So you can set that, and then it links.
And you can put a buffer on either end of each of those calendar types, saying, well, if I'm going here, I need 30 minutes on either end to drive to and drive from, so that you're not backed up and you're not showing up late and feeling unprofessional.
Yeah. And to Justin's point too, we, you know, in a sales type business, we let our customers control us. Because we're like, we gotta make this appointment. If you use that calendar and say, here's my calendar, schedule an appointment, people will schedule an appointment.
Yeah, you're controlling how they control you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, so you're still in
Right.
charge, you're still guiding it. So I don't work Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I just have a 4-day-a-week business,
Right.
because that's the model. So I blocked it off, and when somebody says, hey, I need a meeting on Friday, I connect them to somebody else.
Right.
And when I offer to connect them to somebody else, they're like, oh, he's not desperate, he doesn't need my business. Let me look at his calendar again. And I've had people who say, well, you can't meet with me on Friday, you can't make an exception. I don't make exceptions, because it's vital to me, to my family, and to the other business that we run. and it creates some sense of urgency for the client as well.
Mm-hmm.
When they see that there's holes in the calendar, and it's not that you're taking a bunch of time off, but it's, hey, he's really booked up, so he's got something that I need and I want.
Right.
You know, and two, with that, if somebody is constantly wanting you to change your schedule for them, they're a headache from day
That's
one.
not your client.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh, yeah.
Boundaries.
That's right.
Boundaries.
It will not end great.
It will not. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
I'm Rosa Paulson from Trustco Bank.
What is your name?
Rosa Paulson.
Rosa? Hi,
Have you
Rosa.
partnered with banks for like loans, lines of credit?
Say that again?
Have you partnered with other banks for like?
I
home
have
loans?
partnerships with finances. Thank
That'd be
you.
another one.
Yeah.
Have you been part of CCIM or FILR or NAIOP? Do those letters mean anything to you?
No, they don't.
Those are the premier commercial institutions or.
So I'm just part of the reason I'm here. Part of the reason I qualified to do this, because I've been in solar and residential more than 5 years, but the commercial side is new. I've just developed these alliances with these companies. 2 of the companies, I didn't know that they did commercial, and I got an opportunity. I always passed commercial, just passed it to them. And the one guy said, "How you could sell for us?" And I said, "Okay." So that kind of started this. So I'm learning. So thank you.
NAIOP, SILR, and CCIM are the 3 organizations, commercial-wise, that you should be.
So tell me what
associated.
those designations, those letters stand for, please.
Society of Industrial and Office Realtors, CCIM Certified Commercial Investment Members, NAIOP is National Association of IOP, I can't remember what it is.
All right, we got 1 minute left, so we're gonna go to, Jackie's got a Facebook post.
I wanted to recognize Christina with CC Insurance joining us today from her office. She was listening and said, I was just about to recommend Thrive, so she's glad that you have it.
Oh yeah, Thrive is great.
Last question.
Is amazing.
Very excited.
As a realtor, I love solar. It's definitely, if it's presented right from an education standpoint, I've learned a lot from you, but I also know a lot about it, and I'll tell you, the education is the biggest thing that a lot of people don't understand, but it is definitely a number, it does save money. Guaranteed, numbers don't lie.
Ray, you want to finish it up?
A lot of great feedback. Okay. So in general, what can we do as a community to help you?
Well, I appreciate the feedback. I appreciate your suggestions on calendar. Obviously, I'm building my business, so referrals are important. And I appreciate the community. I love this. I love being able to come here because every time anybody gets up to present, there's things that come up. Like, I needed help with this. Well, then, other people learn, we all learn from one another. And I think it's a really, really benefit, and I'm thankful to be a part of it.
All right.
So,
Thank you all. Good job. All right. Community announcements, and then we'll go to our winner of the second giveaway. Anybody, any announcements? Marie.
The chamber monthly breakfast is January 3rd, and it will be, Eustis, it will be the state of the city, will be the presenters. So come, even if you're not a member, just come to breakfast and meet our crew, and we seem to really work well together. And we had an open house, and we did a lot of people came through on the open house, members and non-members, and we're hoping they become members and be a part of this community, because this is the place to be.
All right, and real quick, Facebook, everybody, we will be meeting next week. I know it's in between holidays, but we wanted to keep the momentum going, so plan your next Wednesday. Everybody's gonna have a little bit of a Christmas hangover, so just come and have some coffee and donuts and join us next week.
Especially, you know, in the
Lenny.
morning.
I just want to reiterate what Marie's saying. If you're not a member of a chamber, you really should be. It is for small business, and you never know who you're going to sit next to. If you, the business owner, don't have time to go, send somebody in your place a name tag and business cards. That's all they need, and it will work. But you've got to show up and build that relationship. So I can't stress it enough.
Great.
Just oversight.
Go ahead, thanks for that.
I'm gonna tap Wendy and Marie for this, but, we're having a workshop soon.
Yes, yeah,
January.
January, it's the 23rd. 23rd, we're doing a workshop, it'll be from 7:30 to 9 in the morning, we're just confirming location, so more information will come on the flyer.
What happens in a workshop?
What's the workshop about?
What's the goal?
So it's to educate business owners, it's the toolkits to start your 2024 offering. So you're gonna hear from me, the incubator, you're gonna hear from the Small Business Development Center, the chamber, LEAD, and Seacoast Bank. So, and then I'm gonna be talking about marketing, some things that business owners can do on their own to jumpstart for 2024. So it's free, so you can invite your friends and join us.
And you'll be able to
January
meet,
23rd.
you'll be able to meet the key people we have in our area that head up each one of those, but then also learn the difference between, okay, what SBDC can do for me, what the UCF incubator can do for me, what the chamber, what LEAD can do, and you can utilize all of those, or you can say, okay, this is a fit for me, this is where I need to go. So it's a great, it's looking at your toolbox and seeing all the tools that are in it and what the tools are used for, so it's gonna be a good workshop.
Yeah, just remember, just every week from here on out, just keep reminding everybody, and let's pack the house. Great.
I just want to say something about chambers. Chambers are great all around the country, and if you're a business, I personally believe you should join, because you may be a big inspiration in business. You may not need the chamber much, but just you being in the chamber and other people that see how successful you are going to say, hey, you know what, I want to be part of this. And it's you know, a lot of this stuff in any of these groups is it's not all about us. It's about helping others, and it's a great community in that regard. So it's not just to join a chamber, but if you're successful, they want to be. You could be an encouragement to them, and by joining any type of group like this.
Okay, so this isn't necessarily a community announcement, but I wanted to put this out there. I went on a tour of Lake Tech Community College and met with the president, Deanna Thompson, and I was so impressed and so unaware of what we have in our backyard with Lake Tech. And just for a lot of you businesses out there that are struggling with the employee retention or finding the right employees, you can tap into there and get internships or recruit from there. Like, well, I'm sure, Quan, you already work.
We're on board, yeah.
Yeah, work with them with their HVAC, but with the welding, the car repair, the administration. Even their administrative part that they teach, those students, they want to give them real world experience. And so you can go there and say, hey, I need help with this, and grab onto their students. So I just want to encourage people that if you're stuck with anything with your employee wise, check out Lake Tech.
I think one of the most underrated tools that we have, especially in North Lake, that we don't realize. My biggest challenge is employee.
Well, and Quan, if you know somebody,
my biggest challenge.
If you know somebody at Lake Tech, this is a great spot for them to come and give their feedback and support as well. Because we're trying to get the president at Lake Sumter to come.
Oh, she will.
I think, yeah, we'll get them there. But all of those are great to bring them here to work together. Marie.
I just want to add, Lake Tech just got a $1.7 million grant for their CAM program, which is their computer assisted manufacturing program. If that is not unbelievable and amazing for this community and the manufacturers in this area, that grant, that money will allow them to expand and get more teachers and expand their classroom space, because they have a wait list for people in that program, to get into that program.
My mind was blown.
Mine was too.
That's tomorrow. With that, AI is going to come and take us off of our what some of us older folks in here remember in 1980 when someone came out with a computer, well, that's gonna happen in the next 5 years with AI. And if you're not on board of it, you could be out of business. It's that.
Some of us seniors in here that remember the thermal paper fax.
Yes.
And how do you read it and print it on the other end? I still get amazed by it.
Can I tell you something though on fax?
Yeah.
It's still used today. And
Yeah,
it's
it
the most secure and
Yeah.
source of communication.
I realize I didn't say something that I really want to say. I know I expressed how much I appreciate this group, but I want to extend a real thank you to that man right there, Monty. That presentation didn't exist 24 hours ago, and he spent 4 hours with me last night or yesterday afternoon helping me put that together. I didn't know anything about I know how to do a PowerPoint. I didn't know how to create it, and all of that was because of Monty. So I just want to thank you. And I went through that once before I last night with my mother last night and through it. So I want to express that these people here are just, and George and Monty and Ray and Jim, just a great source, and I just appreciate it.
You know, and one thing, just as a reminder, you know, when we went through on presenters, you know, we talked about it on the organizing team. Alan's been in solar for more than 5 years, but he's new to this area. It's new, you know, this is an example of who we want up here presenting to, because he came from Michigan, the great state of Michigan, I may add, go blue. But he's only been here new. When you come to a new area, you're starting all over. You know, it doesn't matter how long you've been in the business. You know, I came down here after 33 years. I started all over. So that is why, if you were wondering, well, if he's been in since 17, why was he able to present? That's why. So, any last announcements, and then we're going to give away our last giveaway, and then we will call it a day. No more? Julie, you are our winner. Yeah. Remember, next week we are meeting. Let everybody know. Let's have a great week, and we'll see you next week.
See everyone up front. Yeah, picture up front. Woo!
He made them to give away. Seriously, he made those to give away. All of them. The whole box.